back. You're watching the Urban Debate. Like I was telling you, 20,000 tribal farmers marched through Mumbai over the last 2 days to place their demands before the Chief Minister. After about a couple of hours of deliberation, the state government has agreed to meet their demands. The question to ask right now, at least, is why do we need for these poor farmers to walk to our cities and knock on the door of the state government if it's that easy to grant their demands? My colleague Mandar Fanse, senior editor of Mirror Now, standing by. He's been on the ground this entire day, from early this morning, speaking with the farmers, walking with them. Mandar, if you could tell us at this point, we do know that you've been covering this protest for a very, very long time. These farmers want the rights to the land they've been tilling. They want minimum support price, and they want their farm loans to be waived off. If the Maharashtra government, Mandar, could have done it in 1 hour like they did this evening, why make these farmers walk? What is the response that the farmers are giving you now?
Faye, as of now, the farmers are really elated and at least hopeful that they would get these lands, because these lands are although in their possession but not in their name. So obviously the ownership is not there and they are not entitled for any of the state government or for that matter central government's schemes or schemes meant for the farming as well. Apart from that, obviously they are not getting any loan waivers, they are not getting any loans at all. So these are a very last mile farmer within the farming community itself in our country across. And therefore these farmers were really hopeful today, at least after knowing that the government has agreed upon that within the 3 months time span their lands will be now will be converted into their name, and obviously whatever are the pending 2,31,000 cases are there across in these 2, 3, 4 districts. Those cases also will be dealt with in immediate effect. But that is itself is a major concern, because the kind of delay which has happened so far, and especially at the level of the collectorates, especially at the level of the tehsils, the will is not there. The kind of proactiveness is not there as far as the district administration is concerned. And now that today all the district collectors were summoned in this particular meeting at Vidhan Mandal, and at the same time Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis was also there. And apart from that, all the secretaries from Forest Department to the Revenue Department were also present. So at least we hope right now that they would get all these lands in their name.
Well, Mandar, in your conversations with these farmers today, and from the visuals we can tell that these are tribal farmers who walked a great deal to be here. We've heard reports that the real thing that broke their backs was demonetization, and since then farmers have had a difficult time recovering. In fact, since then there hasn't really been a recovery of liquidity in their markets as well. They still don't have full access to cash. Is this true? Have you been able to establish this from your conversations with them today?
100%. Most of the farmers, they were talking when in first place, especially these tribal farmers, they are not the official farmers per se for as far as the government schemes are concerned. Apart from that, obviously these farmers were telling us in specific that post demonetization, and for that matter even post GST, the overall system which was offering them the money or liquidity for that matter, that liquidity is not available to them. They are also telling us that especially when they are sowing cotton, especially at the backdrop of this deficient rainfall this time round, almost 30 to 40% rains have not been registered. So of course these farmers are at a tremendous level of stress, and they were also hoping that they would get at least the MSP which is there on the Kharif crops. All the 14 Kharif crops which are specified by the central government for MSPs, they are not getting any MSP in the markets, and they are also alleging that the markets are completely rigged. Therefore, this scenario itself is a very, very difficult and horrible scenario for these farmers to sustain their lives. And therefore these people are here and we are witnessing the kind of at least a hope in their eyes right now is there while going back from Mumbai to their little hamlets over there.
Mandar, thank you for joining us with those updates. Mandar Fanse, my colleague there who has been tracking the farmers in this entire protest, telling us that the farmers have told him, yes, demonetization has hurt them, so has GST as well, because a lot of farmers do pay GST on the machinery that they use or any sort of other tools that they use in farming. The question that we have to ask at this point is that the protest of today was just one among 13 protests we've seen across the country in the last 8 months. Is there a massive problem? And has the Indian central government's policies broken the back of our farmers? Take a look.
On the debate tonight, 20,000 angry farmers from across Maharashtra concluded their march at Mumbai's Azad Maidan.
खाने को नहीं मिलती, रोजगार नहीं, कुछ नहीं, हमारे घर में 1 किलो भर भी खाने का नहीं, पानी भी नहीं मिल रहा हमको पीने को.
As Mirror Now led the coverage, marching with our Kisans, it became evident that multiple governments have failed our farmers time and time again.
Most of them have come in from North Maharashtra, Jalgaon. In fact, if I can show you the number of people who are in fact coming in still as we speak, about 20,000 farmers have walked all the way from Mulund yesterday to Shivaji Ground, and then from Shivaji Ground, of course, to Azad Maidan.
The lands are demarcated. The lands are there on the records of the revenue department. The lands are there on the records of the forest department. The lands have been demarcated, and people were identified by various surveys so far. So obviously the struggle which has got a huge backdrop of it.
And as you can see, all of these are tribals. If you can ask my camera person to show you that how the tribals are marching for almost 40 to 50 kilometers since yesterday.
After letting down its farmers earlier, the Maharashtra government has now, once again, promised to make appropriate changes in the land title records to give farmers ownership of the land that they have been cultivating for decades. Maharashtra farmers marched to Mumbai for the second time in 6 months. In fact, across India, there has been a spike in farmer protests. In the last 8 months alone, there have been nearly 15 major farmer protests across the country. Mirror Now asks, after multiple governments failed our Kisan, has the Modi government's agrarian policies failed to give relief to our farmers? Let's debate.
Massive protests across the country over the last 8 months across 10 different states from Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Delhi. Farmers have been protesting across the country. Has the government completely failed? Joining me on the show, Dr. Gulresh Sheikh is the leader with the BJP, Sudhir Suryavanshi, senior journalist, Yogesh Pandey with the Swabhiman Shetkari Sangathan, Avik Shah, convener of the Jai Kisan Andolan Farmers Wing of Swaraj India, Vandana Siva is a scientist and the founder of Navyana, and Professor Rajvi Sharma is a political analyst. I welcome all of you to this conversation. My first question is to Avik Shah. Mr. Shah, has the government of India failed the farmers? Because from the evidence that we're picking up, not only has it not been able to action any new policies, or the policies that they have actioned has not made too much of a difference, the ones that they picked of demonetization and GST and the other changes has actually hurt more.
The government of India has no policy for the farmers. It has some advertisement, it has some glitzy copies. You can see the Prime Minister smiling out of them all the time. There has been no policy. And whatever has been announced in terms of doubling farmers' income and a commission for all of that, that's just eyewash. The government does not intend to do anything for the farmers. So let's not go back and discuss policy and the efficacy of the policy. The government has been insensitive. In fact, I don't think the government understands the Indian economy at all. So these double whammies of GST and demonetization have completely broken the backbone of the hinterland. And in a year when there was good rainfall and there was bumper crops, farmers were hoping to get a good price, and that's the time when the government sucked out all the money from the market. So I don't think there is anything that anybody can sit and defend this government about in terms of farmers, in terms of its agrarian policy, and in terms of its looking to the future of the farmers. The farmers all over the country are thoroughly demoralized. 30th, 29th and 30th of November, you will see lakhs of farmers in Delhi under the banner of AIKSCC, a Lok Sangharsh Morcha which led the Mumbai March. Its leader, Pratibha Shinde, is a member of the working group of AIKSCC. We will welcome her on 27th at Delhi. So this is going to be agitation after agitation, waves of protests, till the government wakes up. And, well, honestly, Faye, at this juncture, nobody really hopes this government to wake up. It just hopes that this government, when it exits, will at least realize why it is exiting and why it had to lose.
Well, I just want to put one thing on us. One second, Mr. Gurresh Sheikh.
Congress party, because you are sounding like that only.
Okay, one second. Let me just, before I take this conversation any further.
He's not an activist or something else. He's a politician. He's working like a politician. He's speaking like a politician. He's on the payroll of Congress.
All right, one second. Mr. Sheikh, you are on mirror now. Take a deep breath. This is not how the show works. If you shout out of turn, I will switch your mic off. I want to put on the screen a heat map of the country, and on this map right now, we have highlighted every state in which there has been a farmer protest in the last 1 year. Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Rajasthan, Orissa, Punjab, Gujarat, Telangana, almost all of it. This is not a state-based problem. This is a nationwide problem. Gulri Sheikh of the BJP, now I will ask you to help me understand what the government is doing for farmers. I will also ask you not to make personal comments about anybody on the panel. Let's stay with the data and let's debate the facts. What has the government of India done for the farmers, and why are there so many protests taking place? Go ahead, please.
You know what? For us, the farmers issue is really very sensitive issue, and we are working seriously regarding it. But you can't expect that 4 years of government will clean up all the mess of 4 decades. And why, farmers are coming to us and protesting in front of us, because they know that this is a sensitive government who will hear them, who will work for them. Today, what happened in Mumbai, these are the tribal farmers on whose lands is not on the paper record. And why it was not done in past 60 years? You should ask the gentleman who was speaking before me. But now today, as they know that this is a very sensitive and genuine government, so they are coming to us, and we are doing what we will do and what we can do, and most of their problems will be sorted out. See, you look at the Modi government policies, be it Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. In this country, it was thought that Fasal Bima or insurance of crop is something which is impossible, but our government planned the scheme, made it possible. No. Let it be Sinchai Yojana of central government, we have achieved a lot. Let it be linking of the mandis in electronic form, so that the farmers can get good money out of the product. And till now we have linked more than 600 mandis across India, and by 2020 we will be linking 500 plus more. If you go to Madhya Pradesh, see, there is Bhavantar Yojana, under which the farmers are getting what they should get. This is the only government who has given 1.5 times the cost of production as MSP. So what we have promised, we have done, but we will be doing more what we have not even promised.
Okay, you also promised to double the income of the farmers, but I have written down everything you've said, and I will allow now the panel.
Yes, we are committed to it.
You're committed to it. All right, fair enough. I will allow the panel to rebut what you said. I want to take this to Yogesh Pandey. I saw Yogesh Pandey put his hand up when it came to the Fasal Bima Yojana. Yogesh Pandey, do you believe that the Fasal Bima Yojana or the crop insurance scheme that has been brought about by the government of India has been helpful? Why do you disagree with Gulresh Sheikh?
It's absolutely absurd. Faye, this Fasal Bima Yojana has been a Pradhan Mantri loot Yojana. This government have backstabbed the farmers and the farmers has been cheated and looted. The data and the figures which we can put on your show, 20,000 crore premium was collected and farmers were disbursed hardly 6-7,000 crore rupees. I can just quote you the case in Maharashtra, in Parbhani district. The 40 villages were deprived of their rights of insurance claim based on the fake crop yield. And this is the way how government is functioning. We complain to Chief Minister, but he say I am helpless. And the entire that scheme, Fasal Bima Yojana, is a cheating and looting scheme. Fair, the figures in last 4 years reveals that more than 40,000 farmers have committed suicide. Every hour farmers is dying, and this government is shamelessly saying that we are going to double your income by 2022. I don't understand. You came to power with the tall promises in 2014 that we are making the farmers very double their give them one and a half price of their crop. They will get adequate price. But then after 4 years, what is the reality? Today also farmers are on the streets. In each state, farmers have to protest for their rights, and entire agrarian policy of the government has been mega failure. Farmers are in distress. And the things are very scary. If you look things down the line after 4-5 months, definitely the figures are going to shoot up of the unfortunate farmer suicide figures will shoot up, and government is just claiming about 2022. So it's they are making fun of the farmers. The government should come up and come with the plan that how they are going to help the farmers. They should come with a concrete plan.
Okay, Yogesh, so you said the Fasal Bima Yojana has not helped.
Yeah.
I also want to bring in Ms. Vandana Shiva. Ms. Shiva, you heard the arguments that the BJP representative made. He said it's impossible to fix what 40 years have done wrong in 4 years. The protests are actually happening because these farmers know we are sensitive and they can come to us. And my response to that is, why are you waiting for the farmer to walk to your door? Does it, if you can fix it in 1 hour, like the Maharashtra Chief Minister has done today, shouldn't we have done it already? He also talked about linking of mandis and the Bhavantar Bhugtan Yojana in Maharashtra. Do you have any rebuttals for him, Ms. Shiva?
Well, first I'd like to point out that these are tribal farmers. And in 1996, a very important constitutional amendment was made called the Panchayati Raj Extension to Scheduled Areas Act, granting the tribals self-rule. That law has been blocked, and in fact the tribals are being criminalized all over the country because their resources, their land, their forests, their minerals are up for grab. Second, an even more important law was passed on reversing the historical injustice to tribals, which was the Forest People's Rights Act. It was recognized that forest peoples are the peoples of the forest. This is their land, they are the Adivasis. The time is now to recognize it. No one is giving them a title, no government is doing them a favor. So it is time to respect those two laws and implement them. The current government has blocked both those important laws. Second, the agrarian crisis of Maharashtra actually has a commission for the agrarian crisis. The chairman of that commission, Mr. Kishore Tiwari, last year at the peak of the suicides and the peak of the pesticide deaths from the BT cotton, because the technology was failing, Monsanto was extracting huge amounts, had called it a killer crop, and the chief minister had announced that this was culpable homicide and they would be tried. Today, I have spent all of this week in the Supreme Court of India, where Monsanto is trying to undo 3 important laws of our land. The Biodiversity Act to protect our genetic wealth and people's rights to that wealth. The Plant Variety Right Protection and Farmers' Rights Act to protect farmers' rights, and the Patent Act, which in Article 3J says plants, animals, seeds and their parts thereof are not patentable. Monsanto illegally collected royalties from farmers, 7,000 crores. That's why there's an agrarian crisis in the cotton belt. It cheated the farmers, it looted the country, and it's now trying to undo the law. I wish the government was standing in the court defending the national laws. That is true nationalism. The final thing I want to say is I've just done a report. It's called The Future of Our Daily Bread. It's vital to recognize that farmers are not just farmers. They're the protectors of the soil, the land, the water, and they're the providers of food. They are our annadatas. If they go, our food goes. And every policy that's driving a farmer into a crisis is destroying our food security as a nation. So the title of our report is called The Future of Our Daily Bread, Collapse or Regeneration. Collapse because scientifically the evidence is clear. The IPCC has just pointed out that we have 10 years to turn things around, and my studies have shown 50% of the greenhouse gases that are causing climate change come from industrial agriculture, which is also the reason for farmers' debt. The Biodiversity Panel of the United Nations has pointed out that industrial agriculture is the single biggest cause for desertification, land degradation, and forced migration.
Right.
And if we don't stop this in the next 10 years, there will be social collapse and ecological collapse. This idea of integrating mandis is the stupidest idea of our times. We are in a very vulnerable situation where integration financially, integration digitally, integration through commodities is the vulnerability of economies. We need pluralistic markets for our farmers, local, regional, national, and some global. When you unleash one Walmart to be the only buyer, the farmer will get only 1%.
Yes.
When you unleash a Pepsi to buy potatoes, the farmer will get less than 1%. It's this commodification of farming in the name of doubling farm incomes that is crashing farmers' incomes. Organic farmers who work with Navdanya are earning 10 times more. It is time to start conserving our resource base, our soil. I was so sad to hear the farmers protesting, saying we don't even have water. Well, they're the keepers of water. If they don't have water, we won't have water either.
And Ms. Shiva, I must point out that farmer said...
The farmers are the canary in the coal mine. It is time for India to wake up, to shift its policies, and to make sure governments respect laws and make policies for the land, for the soil, for the seed, for the farmers, and good food, not for...
I will come back to you on that point. I must also point out, like you rightly said, that farmer said that we don't have water to drink. He wasn't even talking about water for farming. He said there isn't enough water to drink. Guldesh Sheikh, I see your hand go up, but there are still two members of my panel who haven't spoken yet. So I am going to give everybody an opportunity to make their opening statements. Professor Rajveer Sharma, go ahead. Do you believe that the central government policies have done enough for our farmers?
I think before we really discuss and blame and do some kind of a central government bashing, it would be appropriate if we understand the constitutional mechanism under which we work. India is a federal polity, and agriculture, in fact, is a state subject. And the center and state governments both have to work together rather than just saying this government, Modi government. I don't subscribe to this kind of an analysis, because the policies are framed with the cooperation and involvement of both the union and the state governments. And let me tell you that if it is now, what was happening in the last 60 years? Why the situation has arrived so bad today? Why are they not arising right from day one? I think we should be fair when we are evaluating the farmers' policy. We must begin from the day of independence and application of the Constitution of India.
Well,
in
to
fact,
be fair,
even in Maharashtra,
Professor Sharma,
case,
I have a rebuttal to offer you.
Just let me complete, because I didn't interfere.
All right, go ahead.
I didn't interfere. I think even in Maharashtra, it was created in 1960, so it is almost 6 decades. And out of 6 decades, the Congress has been there for 5 decades. So what happened in that regime? Why didn't they care for the farmers? In fact, the policy in fact should be made where when the implementation of even the constitutional amendment, for example, Vandana was referring to the Panchayati Raj extension of scheduled areas, the PAISA. If there are weaknesses, they need to be plugged.
Okay, so hang on. So Professor Rajveer Sharma, is your only argument that we should be asking this question of the Congress? Do you have any other points to make other than 60 years versus 5 years?
No, why should we not? Why should we not raise this
question?
All
right. So if that's the point, then I'll open it up for rebuttals. Okay, Professor Sharma. If that's the point you're making, if that's the point you're making,
I think you should be fair to me. Yes.
I am being fair to you. Is 60 years versus 4 years the only point you're making? Do you have any other data to argue?
I'm saying two things. For example, even on case of the Fasal Bima Yojana, there have been some gaps, and therefore what we need to do is fill up those gaps. If suppose somebody was saying that it was a loot, I think he must understand even the life insurance the scheme, the person who is insured pays his premiums, and with God's grace, everyone doesn't fall sick, and therefore everyone doesn't put claims on the life insurance company. So whatever premium is deposited, and thereafter it is returned when it is matured. So therefore we must be aware of what the process is. And at times what is needed is that the areas which are drought prone in Maharashtra, we must analyze as to why the water has not reached so far, why there is a depletion of the groundwater in Maharashtra, why the tribals have not been given their ownership rights. Because this is what is needed. The tribals, in fact, should have been given their rights long back when the laws were passed. It means that the state governments did not take earlier also, and even this government should have taken prompt action to give the ownership rights to the tribal community. 3, there should be some kind of a review now, comprehensive review, and I think there's a need for appointing another agriculture commission and prices commission. The costs should be included thoroughly while determining the minimum support price.
And let me come back to you on that point, Professor Sharma. I just have one more panelist who hasn't spoken. But to your point, you made 2 points in the beginning. You said 60 decades ruled by the Congress. We should be demanding these questions of the Congress. While that is fair, I refuse to wait another. So would you say it's only fair then to question the BJP government after another 6 decades have passed? Isn't it not fair for us to ask these questions of the government of the day as well? Secondly, you said one second. You did say now you need to be fair to me. One second. You did say, of course, that state and center must work together, and at this point we have 19 states that are run by the BJP along with the center. So in those 19 states, at least, the problems should be eradicated faster, policy decisions should be made faster, and we should see better movement. All right, we have Sudhir Suryavanshi, he's a very senior journalist tracking these problems out of Maharashtra.
I'm not the representative of...
Sudhir, your opening statements, please.
Yeah. So far we have discussed a lot of, opposition bashing or so many, international laws and Indian laws and everything. Currently, we need to focus on the ground level. What exactly farmers are facing the problem, and what, course of action need to be taken so no farmer will take the, end his life. Here in the ground reality, if you see the ground reality, many farmers like this farmer have marched, they have also marched 6 months ago. That time also Chief Minister and his cabinet or the secretaries has given the same promises which has given today. They will appeal the central government to relax the Minister of Environment and Forest Law. They will ask the Chief Secretary to look into the matter. They will ask the district collector. They will ask the various department head to look into the matter. This same answer was given 6 months back. And nothing was happening in the 6 months. Therefore, this poor farmer has to again walk 50 kilometers to come to, to say again the grievances in front of the ruling party. Now the current problem in the Maharashtra is that more than half Maharashtra is facing the severe, it is more than 2072 drought situation in Maharashtra. Many people are not getting water to drink. Almost today, the tanker supply has been increased. The farmer has no water and the fodder and feed to supply their livestock. Therefore, they have been compelled to sell their livestock at the half of the price which normally used to. For example, buffalo was used to sold at more than 1 lakh rupee per buffalo in the livestock market, cattle market. Now that same buffalo has been sold 50,000 now. So these are all same thing is happening with other animals also, other cattle also. So farmers are going in a very difficult situation. Now we had very poor harvest. Rabi season only 6% sowing has happened in the Rabi season. That is a historical lower data we got it from the government. Now nothing is there in the farm to do anything for the farmer. So most of the farmer has started migrating. So now while doing the migrating in the cities also, people are not getting jobs. So where they will get in the city also, metropolitan city like Mumbai and the Pune, the real estate has completely broken. So where these unskilled, where will these uneducated farmer will be engaged? That is the biggest problem. Besides, where they will sell their, keep and protect their livestock.
Okay,
so most of them are, selling that livestock. So that we need to also take care of their student, their kids, where they will go now. The farmer cannot take care of their old people who are at the home and their children. That is also a big problem. We need to,
so
have the contingency plan
problems.
to address all sort of situation we are facing currently.
Okay, now I'm going to open up this debate, but in response to something Gulresh Sheikh pointed out, he asked about the Bhavantar Bhugtan Yojana that started in Madhya Pradesh. We have had a very senior journalist, Mandar Fansi, travel to Madhya Pradesh and he spoke to the farmers on the ground. Listen to what they had to say about this Yojana. Can we play that out, please?
मध्य प्रदेश सरकार दावा करती है कि भावांतर योजना की वजह से, भावांतर भुगतान की वजह से किसान स्वस्थ है।
ये देखिए, आप भी जो है इस गांव में घूम रहे हैं और यहाँ अन्य किसान भाई भी खड़े हैं। ये जब से जो भावांतर योजना पिछले 2 सालों से लागू हुई है, तो इस योजना को हम किसान जो इस क्षेत्र के हैं और जो खेतीबाड़ी करने वाले हैं, इसको एक लुटांतर योजना बोल रहे हैं। भावांतर का नाम हम किसानों ने लुटांतर योजना का नाम दिया है कि कहीं न कहीं सरकार जो है बड़े लोगों को, व्यापारियों को, इनको लुटाने का काम कर रही है।
बहुत किसानों के पिछली बार के उड़द के पैसे आज दिन तक नहीं आए, भटक रहे हैं। ऐसे इन अधिकारियों के पास जाते हैं, वो वहाँ बेच देते हैं, वहाँ बेच देते हैं। कल एक किसान मिला था मुझे गाँव ढूंढला था, वो बोल रहा है पिछली बार के मुझे उड़द के पैसे अभी तक नहीं आया और मुझे वहाँ भेजा जा रहा है। कोई मतलब नहीं है इस योजना का सर जी।
फिर हमारे शिवराज सिंह जी ने 500 रुपये बोनस देने की बात सोयाबीन पे करी है और हमारी सोयाबीन का MSP है 3400 रुपये, 3399 रुपये, और वो मिला के हमको 3900 का पैसा मिलना चाहिए। लेकिन अभी ये अफवाहें भी चल रही है कि नहीं, जो भाव आपका मंडी में बिकेगा प्लस 500 करके आपको दे देंगे। तो ये कहीं न कहीं किसानों के साथ छलावा है और कहीं न कहीं राजनीतिक उद्देश्य से, राजनीतिक रोटियां सेकने और हमारे किसानों का वोट लेने के लिए ये योजनाएं जो है हमको गुमराह करने के लिए की जा रही है। हमको लागत मूल्य नहीं मिल रहा है और हम सब जो है बड़े आक्रोश में हैं और किसान बहुत परेशान हैं।
All right, I'm opening up the debate now to everyone on the panel, but Gulresh Sheikh, your response now. You've heard everybody speak, you've heard the rebuttals. Okay, well, one second, Gulresh, 1 second. Vandana ji, go ahead.
Faye?
Yes.
Yeah, so, I've been involved in agriculture issues. I'm a physicist. I shouldn't be doing this work, but because of the crisis, since the GATT started and since WTO, the word for what's happening now in Bhavantar Yojana is deficit payment that was introduced for trade liberalization in the United States. What does it mean? It means corporations can buy cheap, very cheap, drive the prices down rock bottom. And in India, there's a promise that there'll be a payment. In America, where most of the small farmers are gone, there is a payment. But this is a subsidy to loot, as the farmers are saying. This is not a fair and just payment system. Farmers need first autonomy to be able to sell what they grow locally at a fair price.
Okay, Vandana ji, let me get a response on this.
Facilitating local markets. Second,
yes, let me get a response on this, please, if I may.
For public procurement, we've got the biggest. Yeah.
Okay, Gulresh Sheikh, respond, please. Go ahead.
Firstly, firstly, I want to ask Miss Vandana that what is the ratio of people involved in USA in agriculture and farming as compared to that of India? Number one. Number two, I want to rebut in the same order in which our opposition people are rebutting me. I just want to ask why in the past 60 years no government has encouraged to form joint liability groups, and why no government has given 28,000 crore rupees except Modi government for the formation of these joint liability groups. I want to ask why in the past 6 decades there was no scientific system of soil cards which we have introduced so that the farmer will use the right quantity of urea and other fertilizers as the demand of their soil requires. Why in the past so many years there was no system of Kisan credit card which is introduced by our government? Why in the Karnataka, where these Congress minded people and their company, they came into power with the promise of waivering of farmers loans, but what is happening? They have not waived it. They have waived only a few, and now the banks have filed cases against the farmers and they are being put in jails. I want to ask why in the past 60 years, let me complete, why in the past 60 years farmers were not getting adequate electricity. You come to Madhya Pradesh or any of our states, today 100% villages have been electrified and farmers are getting adequate amount of electricity. Today, why in the past 60 years there was no system of 1.5 times the cost of production of
well, okay, hang on, Gulresh Sheikh, are you telling us, when you keep saying past 50 years, are you telling us the Vajpayee government did nothing?
Let me complete. Just last point.
Look at the future.
Last point. Why in the past 60 years we are working for
You're
the
stuck
future
on past
only.
60 years. Look at the next 10. Look at the next 10 and give a promise to the country.
You know what?
A business of benefit.
All right.
We have introduced the insurance of crops.
Okay, so I just want to put this forward here, and I'm going to say it one last time, and I really hope I don't have to say it again. If the past 60 years amounted to absolutely nothing, and I want to remind Gulresh Sheikh and everyone else who says that you are including the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government in the last 60 years as well. Now, if you want to say that they did nothing, I want to point out to you that is why the government of the last 60 years was voted out of power, unceremoniously tossed out of the door in almost all states and the central government. You were voted in. Now the election was over 4 years ago. You should have achieved some of the things you promised. We can keep talking about this past 60 years, but that doesn't erase the last 4 years. The question to ask now, as we go into another general election, is what has been done in the last 4.5 years? What have you achieved? How many of the promises that you made have you achieved? I'm not talking about the last 60 years, because that government got dealt the cards and the results of its lax behavior. That government was tossed out. Your government is currently in power. Hence, the questions will now be directed to your government. What have you done in the last 4.5 years? As we go into an election, that is the question to ask. Avik sir, go ahead, please.
Yes.
There are certain undisputed facts in this debate. One is that in India, a central government is voted to power for 5 years. It has written a manifesto making certain promises to the agricultural sector. We are here to debate what are the performances of those promises in that manifesto for the 5-year period. What will happen later, what has happened in the past, is not a subject of this debate. Now, the point I'm trying to make is that the Congress is a horrible anti-farmer party which the BJP replaced with a pro-farmer face. And the BJP's face is now exposed. The cover is exposed. That's what I was trying to say. I am certainly not arguing on behalf of the Congress. Now, this government has started on a bad note with the farmers. It tried to tweak the land acquisition. Look at what's happening in Mumbai today. The farmers who have been cultivating and owning and possessing that land for millennia are happy, as your reporter said, at having got documents for it. So the starting point of farming, to own land, is such a big exercise today. So the government wants to take away land through tweaking the land acquisition. It did not talk about farmers. Fast forward to 2018. The budget is the holiest document. In that, if the BJP spokesperson sees, it's clearly mentioned. The finance minister says it is not enough to announce MSP. We must ensure that farmers get MSP, and we will this time ensure that they get MSP, which means they were not getting it and they will get it. Go to any mandi, ask any correspondent, go to any political party, no farmer in India is getting MSP. You see, the problem is growing, and you can see the farmers' agitations. These are not in debate. Now, if you allow the problem to grow and then you come to TV debates talking about the past and trying to make lame, weak excuses, you look bad. You are a political party. You have to win people's confidence and support. What you're doing is eroding confidence. You look like a bankrupt corporation now. Don't do it. That's all farmers are saying. We are coming back to the capital. We are going to the state capitals. We have been trying to talk to the government. This government doesn't talk. It just has grand announcements, which after 1 year seems to be in favor of certain friends of theirs. Don't do this. The farmers of India have supported the BJP throughout the country, and BJP has not paid back, has not kept that trust. There is a trust deficit. So therefore, this debate is about BJP not performing, not meeting its obligations, and if it has, and it has escaped our attention, please, all those speaking on behalf of BJP are free to discuss it, free to bring it to our notice and educate us. Till then, all of us know that this government has not done anything for the farmers, and it doesn't look that in the last 5 months of its tenure will do anything for the farmers, and that's the moot point. Thank you.
I just want to play out another bite. This is from a milk farmer from Madhya Pradesh who Mandar spoke with. Can we just play out that bite, please?
ये 20 रुपए लीटर पानी मिल रहा है, जो 19 रुपए लीटर आज दूध गया है, 19-20 इससे ज्यादा कभी गया ही नहीं. बाजार में 40-50 रुपए लीटर मिलता है भैंस का दूध.
धान मंडी में चले जाओ, कहीं भी किसी के भाव नहीं मिलते हैं. किसी भी आवाज उठाया जाओ तो किसान को मारा जाता है. किसी भी तरह से किसान बोल नहीं सकता है. बस कुल मिला के सरकार चाहती है कि सरकार किसानों को जितना दबा जाए उतना दबा जाए. आज का जो दूध का भाव जा रहा है, इस भाव का हिसाब लगाया जाए. तो मैं कह रहा हूँ कि लगभग जितने भी किसान हैं उनको सामने बताया जाए कि ये आपका दूध का इतना पैसा आ रहा है, इतना खर्चा हो रहा है. मुझे लगता है गांव में कोई ऐसा किसान हो जो गाय बेचना पसंद कर ले, सब बेच देंगे. तो कोई मतलब नहीं है. आज की हालत ये हो गई है कि जितना इनका खर्चा हो रहा है हमारे ऊपर बैठ रहा है.
So this is fundamentally the argument or the complaint that farmers have across the country. जो खर्चा हो रहा है वो हम रिकवर नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. So these were dairy farmers who said the amount we spend looking after the cow and feeding the cow, we're not able to recover, or we haven't been able to recover that money while selling milk.
Exactly.
That's the bottom line. And imagine if someone is not able to just make a profit on their business, it's just going to drive them into an unending cycle of debt. This is where we are with our farmers. Gulreshik, I see your hand go up. We've heard the argument of 60 years versus 4 years. Give us a fresh argument. Go ahead.
See, if you are talking about Madhya Pradesh specific, I am living in Malwa region, where that entire region of Mandsaur, Ratlam, Neemaj all lies, and I can assure you one thing, that no farmer is getting for milk less than 35 rupees per liter, and not only from by direct selling, but even from plants like Amul, corporations like Amul, Sachi and others. Number 2, I want to again say,
but Gulresh Sheikh, there was that farmer was showing us a receipt.
Has covered Madhya Pradesh.
That farmer was showing us a receipt, and this is from Mandsaur.
Ma'am, just listen.
Faye in Maharashtra, 20 rupees.
Yes, from Mandsaur.
17-18 rupees.
I am coming in.
Again,
Just let me comment.
I just want to point out to our audience, we stand by all the information we put out on this channannel.
17-18 रुपए मिल रहा है महाराष्ट्र में दूध का दाम 17-18 रुपए मिल रहा है वी आर ऑन द स्ट्रीट 17-18 रुपए दूध का दाम है गलत मत बताइएगा
Faye, I was not allowed to interrupt.
One second. Nobody is allowed to interrupt, but what you did effectively, Gulresh Sheikh, was say or accuse us of putting out wrong information. Now, I'm saying this to you and I'm saying this to our viewers. I stand by, as the editor of this channel, everything that Mandar Fanse has brought us, because he's a very, very senior journalist and I trust his work. Now, he went to Mandsaur in Madhya Pradesh. He brought us this report of farmers who showed him receipts saying that we never make more than 17 or 18 rupees for milk. Now, how can you tell me that it's 35 rupees?
The agitations are also backed by Congress party. It is on camera record. They precede active president.
Are these the ones that were shot at by the government last year?
Igniting farmers. He was telling farmers to agitate. Their MLAs were igniting farmers. They were saying, Jala do, Mar do. These type of agitations were done by Congress party. They were backed by Congress party.
So what are you saying, Gulresh, that the farmers who spoke to Mandar in their fields are Congress members?
What is the slogans given by
Are you saying, one second, Gulresh, can you hear me? Okay. Gulresh, are you telling me that the 4 farmers that have spoken to Mandar Fanse are Congress members? The ones who were selling their milk when he spoke to them? They are members of the Congress party? Is that your argument?
Yes.
That's your argument?
Yes.
Well, if you think that all the farmers in Madhya Pradesh are members of the Congress party, then you should be very worried about the next election. Can we play out some more of, or can we play out the bites of Mandar with those farmers, please, so that our audience can see for themselves?
Now, when there is a code of moral conduct, listen, Faye, when there is a code of moral conduct and when these people are, Congress people are going to villages for asking for votes, farmers are telling them, giving them slogan, Maaf karo Maharaj, hamara neta hai Shivraj. This is the condition and ground reality of Madhya Pradesh, because Shivraj Singh Chauhan has worked so much that 4 times this state has got Krishi Karmat Award, out of which 3 times was given by UPA-led Manmohan Singh government. So do you want to say that Manmohan Singh gave Krishi Karmat Award to Shivraj Singh Chauhan in Madhya Pradesh? Because he was a BJP
Actually, Gulresh Sheikh, if you're telling me right now that you live very close to Mandsaur and this is your view of the problem, my concern is not with your politics. My concern is with your deep sense of denial with the problem at all. Play out that bite again and my audience will judge for themselves whether they believe that the farmers Mandar is speaking to are politically motivated or are they real farmers. The footage that you see on your screen of the milk is the milk that they were selling at the time. Can we play that out again, please?
ये 20 रुपए लीटर पानी मिल रहा है, जो 19 रुपए लीटर आज दूध गया है, 19-20, इससे ज्यादा कभी गया ही नहीं। बाजार में 40-50 रुपए लीटर मिलता है भैंस का दूध।
धान मंडी में चले जाओ, कहीं भी किसी के भाव नहीं मिलते हैं, किसी भी आज उठाया जाओ तो किसान को मारा जाता है, किसी भी तरह से किसान बोल नहीं सकता है। बस कुल मिला के सरकार चाहती है कि सरकार किसानों को जितना दबा जाए उतना दबा जाए। आज का जो दूध का भाव जा रहा है, इस भाव का हिसाब लगाया जाए। मैं कह रहा हूँ कि लगभग जितने भी किसान हैं उनको सामने बताया जाए कि ये आपका दूध का इतना पैसा आ रहा है, इतना खर्चा हो रहा है। मुझे लगता है गांव में कोई ऐसा किसान हो जो गाय बेचना पसंद कर ले, सब बेच देंगे, तो कोई मतलब नहीं है। आज की हालत ये हो गई है कि जितना इनका खर्चा हो रहा है हमारा ऊपर बैठ रहा है।
Yogesh Pandey of the Swabhimani Shetkari Sangathan, I'm going to ask you just one last question, Yogesh. The main pain for all farmers at this point is pricing. I understand in the last 2 days that tomato farmers have actually thrown their produce on the road and walked away because they were getting 1 rupee per kg of tomatoes in Maharashtra. Tell me what the prices are in the mandis for the farmers on various products, because what I want to, it's very simple. Yogesh, I want the audience at home to hear if their tomatoes are being bought from the farmers at 1 rupee and what we are buying it for in the cities. Go ahead, Yogesh, please go ahead.
Yeah, Faye, yesterday the methi, fenugreek vegetable was thrown on the street, entire truck load, because there was no buyer and there was no purchaser for that fenugreek. And 3 days back, the farmer sold onion for 1 rupees kg, and after selling entire his produce, the ulta patti, we call this ulta patti, 500 rupees of record to be paid, record from farmer. So this is the stage. And today's price for tomato is 1 rupees kg. So you tell me how farmers are going to sustain. And then the spokesperson of BJP was claiming that for the 35 rupees lady, absolutely absurd. 3 months back, we agitated in Maharashtra, and farmers were paid 16-17 rupees, and that is a stage everywhere. You take it Karnataka, you take it Gujarat, you take it in MP, the price which milk farmers are getting is not more than 20 rupees, and on the other side, where consumers are being paying prices 35-40 rupees. Take about vegetables, price paid by consumer for tomato is 20-25, for onion 15-20. So there is a big gap. And rather discussing about solution, they are just throwing mud at Congress. Forget Congress. Congress is gone now. You are in power. You have to find a solution. We should speak about solution. But we are not speaking about solution. Faye, the root cause of agrarian crisis is the collapse of artisanship, village artisanship. And entire village system, initially the villages were self-sustained. It was a self-sustained state. But today, what is the condition of villages? There is no money. Faye.
Right. Unfortunately, I have run out of time, but we've had some very qualified people on this panel today who pointed out some important things. It boils down to finding solutions going forward so that our farmers get good prices for what they grow. We're paying the prices in the cities. A lot of our produce gets exported as well. But that money is not winding up in the hands of the farmers. And that's why they're upset. If their crop fails, they lose a lot of money. If they have a bumper crop and suddenly the market is flooded with tomatoes, the price of tomato crashes and the farmer makes no money again. It's a lose-lose situation. We have to be talking about solutions, not defending and denying the problem. For most of the conversation we've had today and yesterday, representatives of the government have denied that there is a problem at all. They have gone as far as to call the farmers politically motivated. I want you to look at your screen. Do these people look politically motivated for you? They're tribal farmers who walked the city of Mumbai. And I just want to boil it down to one thing. You may say all protests are politically motivated, but suicide is not politically motivated. You can never drive another human being to kill himself and abandon his family for your politics or for anybody else's. The rate at which farmers are killing themselves right now tells us beyond a shadow of doubt that this is not political, that this is not about the election, that this is absolute despair and desperation. I appeal to our urban audience on the urban debate to please stand with our farmers. They don't have the access and the voice that you have. There's enough material available on all of these things on the internet. Spend some time reading about it, form an opinion and voice your opinion. Your opinion is the one that will carry. Stand with our farmers today. They need us. Thanks for watching.